little tag team here? Okay.
Well, our group had a lot of very diverse opinions, since I don't think there was one consensus in terms of hopes and concerns. I will start, though, with the criteria, which was stated very succinctly in general. Keep neighborhoods together and do not split up service areas. And I think specifically the group, it came up, don't split up the service areas of community development corporations. And so that was a strong message that came across. I think the feeling, and that was also listed as a concern, that community development corporations can't do their work effectively if they don't have a councilperson advocating for them specifically. Do you want to mention anything, Edwin?
Yes, we'd like to add that also some of the residents was concerned about divide or neighborhood groups because one particular area is more Hispanics in particular. They don't want that. They want all be equal and serve equal. Not because it's Hispanics in this area where we need a particular separation that way.
Great. Now, do you have criteria as separate, or do you kind of wrap that in? That's wrapped in. Okay.
The last one is play politics, or people don't want to take as a tool to settle political scores.
Okay. Don't use the words to settle political scores. Was that what you said, Edwin? You're such a nice person. All right. Edwin Rodriguez, thank you very much. Jennings
Thank you very much.
Okay. Big Al Bradsnetz from Stockyard. Yay, Al. Good job. Thanks, Edwin.
Something that weren't mentioned so far that we came up with was the suggestion as a hope was that one SPA would be represented by one representative council as a possible opportunity, so that the 25,000 per ward population number wouldn't be the criterion, but the neighborhoods. Another was mentioned that stated maybe there should be more neighborhood level service provision by council reps, that become a focus. Another hope was that ward representatives would be advocates and champions of the neighborhoods that they serve. And there was a question about a hope for some kind of allocation formula for CDBG funding.
Mm-hmm. Somebody brought that up earlier. We said,
another issue in terms of concerns was if there's been a history of historic preservation in a neighborhood, in terms of a planning level, would that remain should the council reps change? And some of our overall criterion was a suggestion that possibly this whole process be put on hold until after the next census, that this all be considered a dry run in the spirit of the current legislation, rather than using some fictional figures. It was to regularly keep the public informed as to where the process is at, and to really encourage the realistic redrawing of SPAs based on neighborhood identities.
great. Thank you, Al. Great. Very good. All right. Yeah, leave it over here.
Good evening, everyone. The group that I was facilitating certainly touched on this process representing changes in population. This is how the process came to pass, and that it should be reflected in how this decision is made, so that the decision reflect actual changes in population. Some additional concerns were how this redistricting will affect CDCs, which we've heard earlier as well, and safety and public works and public services. In addition, there was a concern over how this will affect voting precincts. But I think much of what we discussed is reflected in the documentation you have. Thank you.
Thank you. That's Marie Timpano, who's the director of Mary House in Tremont. Any other groups to report back? Okay, thank you very much. All right, we're going to compile this Ian thing.